Inside, my guess is they would be record checking and identifying all the individuals in a place. And also they're able to search the people they have arrest warrants for. All right, here we got a state police detective going through Pee-wee's car, Tommy D. Phillips' car, the ringleader of this group, and the alleged owner of that establishment. Pee-wee would never touch the records because he's the boss of the group. They're looking in the wrong place, but I guess they gotta look. Now we got Butts and Raymond coming out of the finish line. Obviously, they must be looking for Phil Denoya. He was the main guy, and yet they lost him because they never expected him to be in his mother's car. Here goes Michael Del Gercio out. He's gonna go across the street, more than likely to a phone. I bet he's putting a word out. You're not gonna see anyone with gambling records in the finish line now. The state police aren't gonna make any arrests because you can't let defendants walk all over the place after they've been placed under arrest. See that blue Cadillac there? Now he's gonna walk up. The tail end of that blue caddy, that's a made guy in that caddy. His name is James Calabrese. That's Jamo. Now he's gonna form Jamo to screw. See? He just tipped off Jamo, and Jamo's gonna get the hell out of there. He's a made guy with this Genovese family also. Very powerful figure. Now we'll see if that caddy takes off or not, or he stays. Now that he was just tipped off by Del Gercio. Walk right up to him and tipped him off, and there's no police officers present. And everybody from the state police is still inside the finish line. After the raid at the finish line, I went home and I called Nick up. Nick called me, excuse me. Tell me about the success of the raid. And he said Phil Denoya was not there, and he said they didn't get any paperwork from the raid. It was just a shot in the dark, and they stirred things up. This is the way it was explained to me. So I saw Phil Denoya. I know Phil Denoya was there. I don't know how he could have been missed. You know, and I see a police situation developing, then I want to be in it. But right now I have to be a low-key operative because I'm still working the job. I'm still supposed to be a part-time learning to be a gangster type of person. Just starting to participate in their gambling activities. Hero worshiping these assholes. This is what I'm supposed to do, and this is what I do. Yesterday morning, I was approached by one Harry Moore, one of the guys in the back in the club. And he started talking to me and Billy. And he says, well, I could talk to you guys. I said, Harry, you know, you're German, I'm German, Billy's German. You'll be one of us. So Harry says, yeah, that's right, you know. He says, with this, Harry describes the game to us that they're running on a nightly basis in the back, which is a Monte game, how they take all the 9s and 10s out of the deck, and they bet on the 4 cards, one against each other. And sometimes the pot goes as high as $40,000. He explained to us who deals, who's the bank, and he also told us what the cut is for the house is 25% of each pot. Now that's quite a cut because sometimes if the pot goes as high as $25,000 or $30,000, 25% of that goes to the house. That in itself was all documented today. Billy documented it on paper. That gives us the probable cause to raid that game. As we started closing in on the bad guys, I had to start thinking of the dangers to my family. Everything could not be going along better. That's when I got called up to the office. And Nick gets me down and he said, look, you better start thinking seriously about relocation because I think it's going to happen. We're going to take them down. I said, well, geez, no one knows. My wife don't know. I said, that's why this job is such a goddamn success because no one knows what the hell we're doing. Now I have to think about these things and how I'm going to tell my wife. This is a life and death job. This is no kid games. How is she going to react? How are my kids going to react to this? They've gone to one school, and now I'm going to have to yank them out of the school. And then Nick tells me, look, if we have to get you out of there in the middle of the night, you're going to have to be prepared. You're going to have to decide where you want to go. And he told me if we do it without the feds, I can pick the location anywhere in the United States. So I said, okay. Well, he said, well, don't waste any time because this job looks like it's going to go down. Joe Zara approached me a week ago, Wednesday, approximately August 5th. He came up to me and he waved me out on a sidewalk and said, due to the fact I'm not busy, he'd like to use my store at nights, keep gambling money in the drawer. The purpose for this is in case the place gets raided, the cops would have a separate search warrant to go into my business, and then to seize the money, they would have to prove it's not oil money. And I said, Joe, just make sure it's money. I don't want to get whacked with no dope in there. I said, don't put no kilos of anything in my drawers, because if the cops whack the place, I said, I got receipts in the drawer. I'll work with you on that. He said, hey, great, no problem, this and that. He said, I'm going to keep a minimum of 20,000 in the drawer, and it could go up to maybe 60 or 70 as the games get going, about 4 nights a week. So I ran out and I had the key made for him, and he now comes and goes from the inside door inside my store and uses the drawer in the back desk, the upper drawer with the receipts in it. Now the move itself came, I had the furniture all ready to go. I was going to be made in 2 different moves. I had to hire 2 movers, and we paid them in cash, and we used fake names, so there was no paper trails. I worked my apartment with the first group of movers. Got all the furniture out, on a truck, gone into storage. Then the next day it was picked up by the second group of movers and transported to the safe house. Then I was notified that I had a choice. I could either call it quits now, or I could continue on for the rest of the summer in the investigation. I didn't have to think about that very long. I tell them I'm in it all the way, but I need a safe place to stay. So the New Jersey State Police rented this apartment for me while I'm in the state working the case. My family has already been relocated out of state, and this is it's a little barren, but it's enough to get by. You got to make do with what you got. I pretty much just use this place for just sleeping, shower here. There's no food here, no cooking utensils. This is it. I share this apartment with 2 other undercover cops. As you can see, their bare necessities are a little different than mine. The mobsters in the back are not the only ones fooled by my new life as a low-level gangster. As we get nearer and nearer to the day of the big rage, when we're going to take the bad guys down, even my cop buddies from the old days refused to talk to me. I was completely cut off. At lunchtime, I called up an old friend of mine, a guy I went to the police academy with. He's a lieutenant in East Orange Police, Danny Cullinane. And I said, Danny, how about some lunch today? I figured we'd go out. I'm not going to see this guy anymore after the arrests take place. He says, Mike, you're so hot right now, I wouldn't come near you with a 10-foot pole. That's because I'm in the store. Everybody figures I'm a mob guy. And then he yells to the dispatcher. He says, somebody better record check Mike Russell. I got him on the phone now. And he says, you care to divulge your whereabouts right now? I said, come on, Danny. I said, you know. He says, Mike, I says, no good. We don't want nothing to do with you. And I said, all right, Danny. I said, just, you know, everybody's got to make a living. I wanted to tell him, but I can't. The job is my top priority. And he'll find out in a week's time that I was really on a level and I never did change sides. End of day, and I closed up and went home. Tuesday the 16th, Billy and I returned to State Car this morning. Billy dropped me off at my car, and that's it. The job was done. I'm finished. Billy said, it's out of our hands now. We did a good job. And that's it. And I said, Billy, good luck and be careful. And then I left him. the night before the raids. I was all psyched up then, and I was hoping for an immense success. I couldn't sleep that night. I was walking around like an expectant father myself. And then I waited and I waited and I watched, and 4 o'clock rolled around. I said, here we go, D-Day. And then, make a long story short, I got a phone call 10:30 in the morning. Nick says, Mike. I could tell by the tone of his voice, he said, Mike. He said, we hit a grand slam. I said, Nick, do you mean we hit a home run? He said, we hit a grand slam. It went out of the park and down the street. State police raided the club in the back, the one we had monitored for 15 months. And they went to go enter Premium Petroleum, my office. And Joe Z yells out, you can't go in there, those guys are legit. That's how much, right down to the final line, to the finish. He thought we were okay. And the state cops look at him and they say, yeah, they're legit, all right. They're with us. And we're gonna move the furniture out now because it's state police furniture. And they secured the building and the furniture and moved it out. Boy, were these guys surprised. The cops had it all laid on for them. Arrest, booking, and a little ride to the bail hearing.
Hey, Andy. Andy. Hey, Pee-wee. Pee-wee.
Oh, forget about it. Go find a job.
Pee-wee, what happened? I got the picture of me fucking your mother last night. That would have been better. Hey, Ralph. What happened? What happened, Ralphie?
Yeah, you want to bring him to the jail side or that side? I think you better put him on the guard.
Many times I made this trip when I was an East Orange police officer. I used to bring the truck down once in a while loaded with prisoners at the end of the day. This is at the Essex County Courthouse. Here comes Joe Patullo. Here's the guy who used to give me the tips on the horses, the first guy right behind the sheriff. There's Joe Amerso. We got him on Bloomfield Avenue once with the camera. There's James Calabrese, Michael Del Gershio. Here comes the big guy, Andy. Look at him with his little handbag. Hey, here comes Barry. He thinks it's a big joke, this kid did.
What do you think of the arrest?
There goes Evangelista. Here comes Joe Z with the red shirt and the white coat on.
Anything you want to say?
Here comes JP and Big John Intentola. There's JP there with his handcuffs
Anything you
on.
want to say?
I heard he didn't take it too well. There goes Esposito, the big guy. Here comes old man Denoya and Dookie Carino trying to sneak by. This guy's a legitimate bookie among all the senior citizens. Bucko, Frank Bucko. There's Phil Denoya Jr.
What do you think of this business?
You see the way Dookie Carino now tried to sneak behind the other guy so you didn't catch him with the cameras. His brother's a Newark councilman. He don't want to know nothing about nothing in these organized crime things. A little contingent of state police there. Mighty secure courtroom.
All right. The gentleman to my far left, what's your name, sir?
Frank Esposito.
You have a copy
There's
of the complaint?
Andy. He don't look too happy. The big
Right, now
cop,
to make a statement
Genovese
as to
capo,
charge,
brought to
any
his
statement you make
knees,
used against
Mr. Golden
the right to a
Tan.
lawyer. You afford your own lawyer?
He definitely brought to his knees.
The substance of the charges, sir, is that you committed crimes in the second degree involving the promotion, facilitation of the crimes of racketeering, business of criminal usury, promotion of gambling.
Judge just gave Andy the word on how serious all the crimes he's charged with are.
has never absconded on any bail that was said. I submit $1 million bail is ludicrous under these circumstances.
The most powerful
Sentencing is
capo in
presently
Jersey,
serving,
till
which is
yesterday.
required by the parole board to serve up to 11 years. For those reasons, I am satisfied that there would be a danger of the defendant fleeing and that a substantial bail should be set. I hereby set bail at 7